Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you all are doing good. Special topic that I have got for you guys today is associated with job creation. I have given the title, Jobs Can Solve All Our Problems. Now back in 2010-11, if we go back in the history of this Middle East portion of the world, or you can say West Asia and some countries, Arabic countries of Africa, Egypt, Tunisia and other countries, then we find that there was a big revolution called Arab Spring. Basically, youngsters as well as job seekers, they were out on the street. They were not happy at all with the economic situation of all these countries, right? A few of the countries that were going in a very bad situation because new jobs were not created, and this resulted into a big revolution. And one of the main trigger, as I told you, was unemployment. The job that they were finding was not worthy enough. Lack of good pay, long working hours and all these things were there. So the jobs that were there, they were not satisfactory. And if we look at these figures of Egypt and Tunisia, then we find that during this Arab Spring, right, 1 out of 4 Egyptians and 1 out of 4 Tunisian youngsters were unemployed. Now something similar, and not that severe, but it's not that good as well in our country, because unemployment is rising in India from last few years. What we are finding is that on one side GDP growth is doing very well, but on the other side this GDP growth is not creating that many jobs. Back in 2016, right, in North India, there was a week-long agitation, and this week-long agitation destroyed items worth, or you can say we faced an economic loss of 20,000 to 34,000 crore rupees. Can you believe this thing? Just 1 week agitation damaged somewhere around 20,000 to 34,000 crore rupees worth of economic items. So this is indeed a big issue, right? And the big issue that we are facing in our country is inability to find jobs matching education undertaken. Every month we find some 10 lakh youngsters are entering into job market. But if we go through the figures, then we find that in 2018 we have just created 6 lakh jobs only. So nearly the year is about to end, and what we find is only 6 lakh jobs are created, and per month you find 10 lakh youngsters, they are entering into job market. So you can see a big mismatch here. What happens because of this situation is that you will find a job, but that won't be that satisfactory. You know, you have to compromise with many terms and conditions. You have to work for long hours and you won't get that day offs, and so it will be in a formal sector then as well. You have to work you know, that you are working in an informal sector. So all these issues, right, are faced by our youngsters today. The other thing is that there is a mismatch as well. Means mismatch in the sense that engineering students are not able to find employment in their field. They have to work in some other fields, and this is one of the reasons why it is also said that many students who have completed their masters, you know, and other special courses, they are applying for government jobs that are definitely, you can say, they are a bit higher educated for those government jobs. Even you find this students, you know, masters and PhDs as well, they are applying for some jobs that are definitely, you can, means if they apply, or if they have the skill, and if economic situation is good, then they can find a better prospect in their field compared to what they are seeking in government jobs. Not all of them, but a few of them. We have these cases as well. I'm sure you have heard about this thing in your local newspapers too, because this is something that we find in various parts of our country. Now, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, that is OECD, says that 30% plus Indians falling in this age group of 15 to 29, they are unemployed. This was highlighted in India Economic Survey of 2017 too. A Center for Monitoring the Indian Economy, CMIE also says that 31 million unemployed youngsters were there as per February 2018. Now 1 million is equal to 10 lakh. So can you multiply 31 into 10 lakh and you will get a figure that is in crores. If we sort out this issue of unemployment, and if we can create employment, then we will be able to deal with three very challenging as well as three very basic yet very important you can say aspects of our country. And it is associated, the first one is about social unrest and crime. Job creation is the antidote to the problem, right? We can get rid of this, people, once they find something from which they can get regular income, or if something is creating livelihood opportunities for them, then it will build self-esteem as well as it will create trust as well in the society. People will start interacting with each other, they will spend some money, this will help this whole economy, and it will also bring stability in society as well as economy. The second thing is poverty and hunger. As per International Food Policy Research Institute's Global Hunger Index, our rank is very bad, because every year this GHI, that is Global Hunger Index, goes through 119 countries, right? So total 119 countries are analyzed in its report, and our rank is 100, which is of course very bad. When it comes to, of course, this is about hunger. So lack of employment means a lack of incoming money, and if you don't have incoming money, then whatever savings you have, you'll be spending that to survive, and eventually you will run out of money. In 2015, approximately 170 million people living in our country were falling under this poverty line. That means they were not able to spend more than 123.50 rupees per day, which is a very small amount. If you compare the way things are going on, this inflation and other things, then you find that 123 rupee you cannot survive, right? You cannot pass even a single day. If you even have 2 times meal, then as well you will find that it's going to be unbearable. So just imagine your rent and other items. With no social security and a complete dependence on philanthropy, right, the only escape route for them is through employment. GDP is expanding, as I told you, but we are not able to create that many jobs. The other thing is this 170 million poverty figure also accounts for somewhere around 12 to 13% of our total population. The third aspect is health and well-being. If you don't have money, then how you are going to look after your health? You won't be able to invest in yourself as far as good quality food is concerned. You'll be, picking up cheap items that are there many a times. Most of the time, cheap items, they don't have food items. They don't have that nutrition and good quality. So it will take a toll on your health as well. It will impact your overall well-being. And if you don't have money, then how you are going to invest in your health? Just imagine a person who is earning just 100 rupees per day, God forbid, but if something goes wrong with his or her family member, then how he or she is going to look after for this expenses, healthcare expenses that are absolutely necessary, basic requirement for our survival. So if we create jobs, then we can get rid of this. We can change this societal environment. We can get rid of, we'll see a drastic drop in crime as well. Poverty and hunger, we can fight against it, and we can look after, or people in fact will start looking after their health and well-being if they have something, if they have a source for their bread and butter. With this education, once a family will have a sort of stable income, that family will invest. It is observed from many surveys and many findings that that family will invest in education. And once you invest in education, and if you impart skills and things like that, then there are high chances that you will find a job that is, that will pay you as per your worth. The other thing is we also need to create this, bring this new entrepreneurs as well as particularly entrepreneurs working in this informal sector, because in recent past we have seen that many entrepreneurs, they have done very well. So their experience and how to grow ahead and how to create jobs and all these things should be promoted in our economy too. And this will create more jobs. This will create a sense of self-esteem and confidence and this sort of things which are absolutely necessary for survival. So that's basically everything about this topic. I hope you have got some sort of clarity on this poverty and unemployment and relationship between employment and overall development of our country. Remember, these are the three angles through which you have to look at this issue of unemployment. Now, before moving ahead, I would like to introduce all of you to our UPSC optional pendrive courses. We have covered geography, psychology, sociology, philosophy, and public administration. To find out more about it, check out StudyIQ.com. With this difference, you can download the PDF from my Twitter handle as well as my Facebook page. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has launched the India Post Payments Bank. This is a big thing because if we look at this capacity or potential of our postal department, then we find that we have some 1,55,000. The up-to-date figure is 1,55,000 post offices in different parts of our country. We have some 3 lakh plus postmen as well as Grameen Dak Sevaks, or you can say rural postmen, and we are going to have some 5,000 plus ATMs, and it is going to be the world's largest banking network. In starting phase, we are going to launch this IPPB in 650 branches, and you will have some access points in 3,250 places. But by the end of December 2018, 1,55,000 post offices in the country will be linked with this IPPB. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that people can, open their saving accounts and current accounts. They can get facilities like money transfer, DBT, paying bills and utility payments, enterprise and merchant payments can be done with the help of this IPPBs. Loans, you won't get loans, right? IPPB will not give you any loans, so keep this point in your mind. The other thing is that he also said that this is going to be a historic day for banking sector, and of course it is going to be, isn't it? Because this is the first step. Just imagine when we will have this 1,55,000 post offices, when they will be linked with this IPPB. So it's going to be a big game changer as far as financial inclusion is concerned. And banking facilities will reach the doorstep. So many facilities, banking facilities will be provided by postmen. With this, he also said that investment and insurance opportunities will be there, and Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana benefits can be delivered using this IPPB. He also talked about non-performing assets. He has blamed the past government, that is UPA policies, for this big chunk of or big burden of NPA on our banks. He said that this 12 big defaulters were given loans before 2014 period, and this 12 defaulters account for some 1,75,000 crore rupee of NPA of various different banks. So it's of course a matter of shame as well as matter of concern. Now, President of our country was in this function, a national conference organized by Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association. It was held in New Delhi, and President said that technology can be a great enabler for speedy justice delivery system in our country. And it was in Hyderabad, right? It was Hyderabad High Court that introduced this e-court system, and now we find that this idea of e-court system is spreading very rapidly and widely in different parts of our country as far as judiciary is concerned. President also expressed his concern about 3 crore 30 lakh plus cases that are pending at various different courts of our country. This means that justice delayed is justice denied, and he said that infrastructure gaps, considerable vacancies, particularly in subordinate courts, all these things are one of the main reasons why we have this many cases. One of the other things that we find nowadays is, not nowadays, but it has been misused for a very long period of time. Adjournments are done either to, that the court will have some more time, or they are there just in case if something is wrong, someone is not well or something else. But nowadays these adjournments are used as a tool to drag the case for ages and ages. CJI of our country, Justice Deepak Misra said that technology has this potential to boost productivity, quality and performance in our judiciary. He said that firstly we can use technology resources to strengthen our managerial and operational support. This will help us in enhancing quality of our work. And thirdly, lastly, it's very important that we will be able to create more database on which researches can be conducted, and then it will help us to improve our efficiency. It will help us to take our efficiency and productivity and quality to next level. Central Board of Direct Taxes has a good news for us that for the country, of course, that by the end of this 31st August, 71% hike has been observed. There has been an upsurge of 71% in ITR, that is income tax returns. If you compare it with the last year, then it is 71% plus. So that's a very big figure that we are getting. At the same time, CBDT has said that voluntary compliance of taxpayers, and then you have this easy filing, return filing form, electronic form, demonetization, then enhanced persuasion by IT department and education of taxpayers. All these factors have played a very significant role in this number. And Ministry of Commerce and Industry, we have got a news. This is the last item of the day. Suresh Prabhu has attended the 6th East Asia Summit of Economic Ministers Meeting, EAS in Singapore, and at the same time he also, after that he also attended this 15th India ASEAN Economic Ministers Meeting. Now this East Asia or EAS includes 10 ASEAN members or 10 ASEAN countries. They are there on your screen. Right, so here are your 10 countries. They are also known as Southeast Asian nations. And apart from that, dialogue partners like Australia, China, India, Japan, Korea, South Korea. Means when I say Korea, I mean to say South Korea, New Zealand, Russia, and United States. This 10 dialogue partners as well, and their ministers were present during this EAS EAM. All the ministers agreed on this thing, that we need to remove these barriers and tariff barriers and protectionism and things like that if we want to see a sort of upsurge in global economy and its growth rate. After attending that meeting, Suresh Prabhu attended this 15th ASEAN Economic Ministers meeting, and this was chaired by Chang Chung Sing of Singapore and his counterpart Suresh Prabhu of India. I have a question for you. Question is that can you give me the name of a country, ASEAN country, that is at present chair, the chair country of ASEAN group? This is your first question of the day. Make sure you stick your answer in the comment section of this video. And he also talked about India-ASEAN relationship, and this is a very important figure here for you guys, that back in 2017-18, bilateral trade with ASEAN bloc was $81.33 billion. That comprises 10.58% of India's total trade with the world. That's everything, dear friends. I have got 2 questions for you guys. Please help yourself with it, and make sure you download the file and go through it again. And please do share this lecture with other students as well. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Jai Hind.